And so ends the Malaysian performance. Final chance to celebrate Singapore, its 50 years of independence, and of course 60 years of stamps. Stamp collecting, a very, very popular pastime in this part of the world. And we're going to take a look at Singaporean history, and certainly its independent history over the last half of a century, through the medium of stamps. So 1949, some of Singapore's earliest stamps. This particular collection celebrates the Universal Postal Union, the one that depicts Greek gods. Stamps are under both the Singaporean and the Malaysian collection. Remember, Singapore's a British Crown colony from 1946 all the way through 1959. It then gained total independence in 1965, and these particular stamps offer a glimpse into Singapore's rich historical past.
The slow process of independence was established in the early 1960s. The dissolving of Malaya, replaced by the Federation of Malaya. And indeed, by 1965, Singapore had become fully independent. Stamps from the 1960s commemorate Singapore's first anniversary and feature members of the Singapore workforce against a backdrop of developing buildings. It was then really that the foundations were laid for the cultural and economic hub that Singapore is today.
Well, also often in Singapore we're seeing immediate links from past to future to present. This collection now is all the way back from as recent as 2006. The stamps depicting trades of yesteryear, the barber, the sandal maker and the sinsay. Many a tradition, of course, which have been replaced by the rich financial service-based economy which Singapore enjoys nowadays.
(1960) and a collection of stamps featuring the Singapore flag. Singapore entered the 60s with its own national anthem, state crest and flag for the first time. And this stamp celebrates the Singapore national flag.
On to Changi Airport now. The world famous Changi Airport opened in the early 80s, now one of the busiest in the world, often rated one of the best in the world as well. This stamp all the way back from 1981 when the airport first came into operation.
Indeed, it's been voted world's best airport the last 3 years. If you're going to be delayed anywhere, it might as well be Changi. (1966), and this stamp commemorates Singapore's first anniversary and features members of the Singapore workforce against the backdrop of developing buildings.
At a time that brought much work and migration to the region and helped create this fantastic multi-ethnic and wonderful multicultural society that Singapore is today. Well, a tribute to uniform groups. That was a collection that we're seeing right now from 2007. Singapore modernising all the time in a wonderful fusion of cultures, but it's always retained its tradition. The first ever airline to operate the largest passenger aircraft in the world was Singapore Airlines. They remain fiercely proud of that feat. That explains the giant aircraft flying into the arena at the moment. The stamp on show, back to 1993, celebrating the last time we had the SEA Games here, 22 years ago, the third time that Singapore had hosted the Games prior to these here in 2015.
50 golds then for Singapore, a tally on which they've improved massively in 2015.
A hop back to 1988 stamps here, celebrating a peculiar curiosity of Singapore, the public information advertisements you see on public transport and around the city-state. This celebrates the 10th anniversary of the National Courtesy Campaign, launched in 1979. All hoping for a more civil society.
(1971), and the series here features Singapore's much celebrated religious festivals. Once again, a reminder of the earlier traditions of Singapore and a celebration of the Universal Postal Union, depicting Greek gods. The stamps are under the Singapore and Malaya collection here.
So back to the beginning, all stamps on show. One you could see there, one of the older stamps from 1955, the reigning monarch Queen Elizabeth at the time, and the iconic statue of Sir Stamford Raffles, the founder of Singapore.
And the ideal juxtaposition of ancient and the ultra-modern. A reminder of the series of stamps depicting ships from the past, such as Chinese junk and sailboats and the A380, which is whizzing around the National Stadium here.
I get the sense of a real atmosphere of nostalgia around the stadium at the minute. Everybody's got their phones, their cameras up, videoing the moment, remembering things, young and old are here. This is real coming of age year for the nation. The Lion city-state enjoying their look back in time.
Ancient sailboats, a nod to the current situation with Singapore and its internationally renowned port, the world's second busiest terminal for cruise ships too. Over 32 million tonnes of shipping came through the port of Singapore in 2013.
Well, 5.5 million people now live in Singapore. It's a long way from when Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles first arrived. And it all started with that port, as you were saying there, Andy. A trading post in Southeast Asia has become one of the world's most important and valued financial centres.